I'm a professional organizer here to remind you that these are sets. If you are struggling, don't feel badly if your space does not look like this. This does not have to be the end goal, and who puts cooking utensils in a pantry?
Amazon products you need. This is a magnetic motion activated light. It turns on with movement or the press of a button. It's super convenient and very easy to install. And if the battery dies, you can just charge it and put it back.
Welcome to Save versus Splurge. Since I live in a small space, I'm selective about nearly everything I buy. In this series, I'll share some things that I saved versus splurged on and why. Splurge, our couch. A good couch is hard to find, plain and simple. Our previous West Elm one was giving us back pain, but I was also stuck on the idea that comfort doesn't have to look hideous. I searched far and wide for this sofa from Beau Concept. It's stylish and comfortable, and the fabric is soft yet stain resistant. At $2,800 Canadian, it felt like a splurge, but it also hits everything on my list, so I knew I could make up for the cost elsewhere. Save, our dining set. The reason I felt I could save on this is A, it's less risky to buy tables and non-upholstered items secondhand if you don't have to worry about smells or stains, and B, we don't spend a lot of time here except to eat, so comfort doesn't rank as high on the list. So this whole set cost $122. I found the West Elm table on Marketplace for $70, and the stools and chair pads are both from IKEA, costing $18 and $7 each respectively. It's simple, but it's really functional, and it keeps my apartment light and open. Follow for more on small space living. 3 myths about minimalism. I'm Tina, and I live in a 400 square foot apartment in Vancouver. I've turned to minimalism to help me build a livable space, and I've encountered some myths along the way. Here are 3. Myth number 1, you can't own things. The point of minimalism is not to get rid of everything. It's more about being intentional about what you keep, the things you use, need, and love, and about letting go of the rest. You decide what's important to you and eliminate the excess. Myth number 2, you have to be frugal with everything. Minimalism does not mean you have to pinch pennies with every purchase. It means you try to be mindful about what you spend so you can prioritize what matters. I find I'm buying less overall with this mindset, but when I do make a purchase I know that I'll use and love, I'm willing to spend a little bit more if the thing is just right. A good example is these knives that I got from Material. A little pricey, but excellent quality. I can sharpen them to keep them in top shape and was able to declutter a terrible set that I had for 15 years. Myth number 3, minimalism is only about stuff. It's actually a mindset you can adopt to improve many areas of your life, including your habit, time, and money. For me, setting intentions in these areas has really helped reduce my stress and freed me from distractions. Follow for more on small space living.
If you live in a small home and you struggle with organizing and space and storage, this is for you. I live in a 900 square foot 2-bedroom apartment in the city, and we don't have a ton of storage. But we get creative. With my Core 4 organizing method, I always tell you guys, break down your items by the room they belong. But what if you don't have a laundry room or a garage? What do? This is when we create zones. We keep our categories together, but we find an area that we can store them and it's functional. I don't have a laundry room, so my hall closet holds my linens, my toiletries, and I've got one shelf for my laundry products. So this is my laundry room. I also don't have a garage. The only other storage closet that we have holds our garage and utility items, as you can see. So we are making small space work for us. So sort out your items, categorize them by the room or zone they belong, keep those categories together, and get creative with your storage and how you can place these items. I'm a professional organizer, and we're going to declutter and organize this bedroom using my Core 4 method. Our first step is clear out. We're going to collect any items that don't belong in the space, set them aside to be readdressed later, and also remove any big bulky items like this rack and clear it out to give us space to work. Step 2 is categorize. So we're collecting likes with likes so the client can see everything he has and is prepared for step 3, cut out. This is where he's going to make his decisions, decluttering, using my 3-second rule. If you don't know what that is, why aren't you following me? Go check out my page to learn more. Once those donations are out, we are ready for step 4, contain. This is where we assess our items and our available storage and create a functional layout that's going to be really easy for him to maintain. We always customize this for the individual client, so what he's using regularly is going to be front and center, very easy to access. Always keeping and storing our categories together and making sure that everything fits comfortably in its storage area. We always like to leave about 10% open for wiggle room. And here is our final result. This is a great example of functional organizing. So we're not talking aesthetic, fancy baskets, labels, all of that. We're looking for a simple, functional system that's easy to maintain. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, go check out my declutter kits. They're step-by-step guides. I needed a printer, so I got one. But what comes along with it is way more. First, there's a box. What do I do with the box? There's all of this paperwork. Printer paper, I now need to figure out what to do with. Let alone find a home for this guy. All of this can quickly lead to clutter. As a professional organizer, let me show you what I do. First, let's look at the paperwork. Setup guide, I already did this, I don't need it. These are promotional materials, I don't need them. This is just little info packets, I don't need it. I don't need it. Reference guide, hey, I may want this, but me personally, if I need to fix or have any questions, I'm just gonna look this up online, so I'm not gonna hold on to the guide. Say if I was panicking and I really wanted to hold on to it, this is where I would put it. In my tiny little filing cabinet under home. And if I had warranties and more manuals under my home section, that's where I would put them. Likes with likes. So all of this, gone. This is my desk setup. Behind these baskets, I have some extra space for paper that I may not need to access all the time. So that is where this will go. And here, I'm gonna make a little bit of space for this guy. But the box, what do we do with the box? Let the box go. Hi, goodness. He totally agrees. I'm a professional organizer, and today my client is 11 years old. People always ask, how do I organize and declutter for kids? I don't treat them any differently than I do my adults, so we follow my Core 4 method and I guide them through every step of the way. After chatting with her about her favorite things and what her ideal room looked like, I let her take a break and I jumped into categorizing. This is all prepping her for the decision-making and the decluttering. I want her to be able to see everything she has and not be too overwhelmed. Once I got all the categories sorted, I brought her in, we applied my declutter 3-second rule, and she knocked it out of the park. She was so decisive and she knew what she wanted, what she didn't want. She felt very comfortable and confident in the entire process. Now it's time for me to go in and create a system of organization that she can maintain on her own. I took into consideration her height, what she uses regularly, and brought in more storage because she just didn't have enough. And if you don't remember the before, this is where we were at. And in 6 hours with just me, here's our final result. She was so excited for the final reveal, and she said, quote, "My life just changed in a few hours." Now mom and dad can help her create a routine so she can learn and practice how to maintain this on her own. I'm a professional organizer and I'm going to teach you how to declutter your kitchen. Before we start pulling everything out and getting too overwhelmed, we're going to stick to the method and start with step 1, which is clear out. We need safe working space, so we're going to first clear off the counters and then start removing things that do not belong. There's a whole bunch of random stuff that I'm just pulling out. We're going to set it aside, worry about it later. In a kitchen, we always start with the top cabinets and work our way down. We are ready for step 2, which is categorize. We're starting by collecting all of our cups, leaving the dishes in the cabinet. This is prepping you for step 3, which is cut out and doing your purging, using that 3-second rule. When you can see all of the cups you own, it's much easier to make decisions. Now you're going to repeat this process and work through all of the categories within your kitchen. We've worked our way down to the lower cabinets and we're focused on bakeware. Now that it's pulled out, time to purge. This is where it can get a little tricky for people because you're probably thinking, well, where do I put all the bakeware? I need you to just set it aside and keep going with your categories. The last area being addressed are the drawers. After you purge, that's when you take a look at your storage and figure out a functional layout. This was everything that was removed. As always, a little reminder of the before, and here's our after. If you want a full list of our core categories we use in a kitchen or a step-by-step guide so you can DIY, it's all available for download in my online education shop.
It goes by one, 2 by 2, everybody on the floor. Let me show you how we let's go. Dip it low when you bring it up slow. With it one time, with it back once. Come, run, everybody run. See, move and rock it till the groove done. Shake it till the moon becomes a sun.
If you hang your sweaters like this, you're doing it wrong. Instead, you want to fold it in half and then take your hanger and place it right there in the armpit and fold over the arms, fold over the bottom like a little crisscross. And now how many times do we watch videos of how to fold a fitted sheet and you're still like, what do I do? So this is what I figured out. Lay the sheet upside down and then find your corners. What we're shooting for is a rectangle shape, as close as we can get. Once you're there, just fold it up like you would a regular sheet. This is the easiest way that I've found to do it. But if you're like me and you hate folding and you don't care about wrinkles, get yourself a basket. This is what I use to hold my pillowcases and my sheets. I toss them in there. It makes laundry so much easier.
reorganized my wardrobe to fit my tiny apartment. My 2.5-foot wide closet is one of the smallest areas in my home, so I regularly edit to keep it small and functional. Here's how. Step 1, set some ground rules. I go in with an idea of what I want to declutter, such as items that are worn, damaged, don't fit, or that I don't wear. These ground rules help me take a first pass at paring things down. Step 2, put leftover items in like groups and review. This is where I do a closer scan of what's left to make sure that I'm happy with the mix of things, decluttering further or noting gaps. For example, this time I noticed I could lose 1 to 2 pairs of shorts, but I also need a spring sweater. Step 3, try out a capsule for a bit. I try to edit to a lean number of items rather than squeezing as much as possible in my closet so I'm not overwhelmed. This also helps me test what I really need. There are always going to be a few items in the maybe pile, stuff I'm not sure about but not ready to let go of yet. I put these things in storage to see if I forget about them, and if I do, I consign them. Let me know if you want more content like this, and follow for more on small space living.